The South African water infrastructure is under attack, and I'm not talking about simple wear and tear. I'm talking about water mafia, which is a criminal syndicate that intentionally sabotages water systems for profit. So, what they do is that they damage the pumps and pipes to create artificial water shortages in communities. Then they step in with their tankers selling water at a hugely inflated price. And this is not something new in South Africa. We have seen this a couple of times. We know of communities that even up to today still struggle with water, but yet we don't even know what the reason behind that is. So I guess that, this answers a lot of us. Where I'm from, there's like the similar situation. So what happens is that water goes off for months, and then at the end of the day you don't have a choice but to buy water. So because water is like a basic necessity, it's very important, and we need water for almost everything that we do. We need water for food, we need water to even keep up with hygiene. So cutting off water for people is like one of the evilest things that I've seen happening in South Africa. And also it reminds me of the situation that I saw yesterday, the situation of tanks, also oxygen tanks. So in South Africa, I think they are just trying to profit off of everything. So creating this issues and then profiting from them is basically you thinking like a businessman and not thinking for the people. So what these people are doing is thinking for themselves, and then they are putting people's lives at risk. And the report also allegedly there are people in the government who know of the people who are doing all of these things, and there are people from the government who understand what is happening, but yet they keep quiet. And it's said that the people who will always be affected by these kinds of things are people who are in disadvantaged areas, are people who are in villages, because people in villages, as much as we like to believe that we have a voice, but people in villages don't really have a voice, or rather they don't have anybody who listens to them. A lot of issues are happening in villages. There's issues of electricity, there is issues of water, and people constantly complain, but nothing is being done. Nobody is really like taking these people serious. And I'm not going to focus on the part of people saying that this is costing the municipality a lot of money because they have to do repairs and all of that. They should be spending money into finding out what the problem is. They should be spending money into eliminating this thing permanently. So them doing a temporary fix, they know that there is such a thing as the water mafia. They know that there are people who will close these valves at a point. They know that there's people who will cut off this water line at a point, but yet they keep on fixing over and over again. Why not spend money trying to find a permanent solution? A lot of times when there are people doing such things, there's always a person in higher power who works with them and knows everything that's going on. But there is an investigation, and the government is promising that they will crack down on this. And honestly, I don't want to talk too much about the government's promises, because at this point I feel like we all know about the government's promises. This is not the first promise they made. They've made a lot of promises in the past. They've even made a promise to end corruption, and at the end of the day they are the ones that are corrupt. So taking the government's promises is like, it's very dangerous, and it's very detrimental to your mental health. So it's very important that we find a way amongst ourselves, because at the end of the day the government won't do anything. This affects people in disadvantaged communities. This affects people in villages. This affects people in rural areas. It doesn't affect people in urban areas because they have a voice, and then that's like basically the business center. So that's the thing. People are saying it's a war zone. People who are working in the municipality are saying it's like a war zone. It's very weird that I didn't know that such things existed in South Africa. But for the past 2 months, nothing is really surprising me anymore. There's a lot that I've heard about South Africa. There's also the tech shop mafia that we've spoken about. So there's a lot that's going on in South Africa at this point. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think that the government will eventually find a way to combat this whole water mafia issue, or do you think that they're just saying this so that we can keep quiet about it? But what I think also, I think just because that a lot of people are being investigated right now, a lot of people are being looked into, and a lot of things are being watched with a very careful eye. So I think this is one of those things where people are just trying to protect themselves, so they will expose all of these things because they're trying to protect themselves, that if shit was about to hit the fan, then they would be safe, in a sense that they exposed the corruption that was happening in the South African water infrastructure. That's basically what I think. I think a lot of this, solutions, a lot of this new information that we are getting, is just that a lot of people are a bit scared, and a lot of these people who are in these mafias are in connection with the people that are in government, and obviously they have to, expose this to protect themselves. So that's basically what I think. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. We are aiming for 60,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you join the number, like, share, comment. I like hearing what you guys think, and I've noticed the concern. A lot of people in South Africa are not really knowledgeable about these things. A lot of people do not really like read the news. A lot of people do not research. So it's very important to research, because a lot of these things that I'm talking about are actually happening, and they are based on research. So you need to educate yourself so that you don't look like a bum in the comment section saying that Wasimol Lakabe, here he goes again, and all of those things that you guys always say. A lot of these things that I say, I've researched on them. I do research, I do intensive research, and watch the news, Buffet, to read the news. Don't just be on the internet to just be on TikTok. Read the news, because at the end of the day, you might not know. It's scary to see how people are clueless about what's happening in South Africa. A lot is going on right under your noses, and the information is there. It's there online. It's there on the social media platforms for verified account, which provide news. Your ENCA, your SABC, your Newsroom Africa. So just take a moment, 30 minutes every day to just keep up with what's happening in the country. So let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section. I will see you guys next time.